Hope you can see the screen.
Yeah, I can see the screen. And just before starting this, I see this meeting is recorded, and this recording is not shared to any public and all, right? It's only for me, and a copy will be you, right? It will not be used for any other things, right?
Good evening. Good evening, Matthew. Yes, you are saying right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. All right, so let us start with the introduction of APM.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay, so this big IP APM, right? It is a part of, big IP device. This is one of the module. So what this module cover basically, like in big IP, we have different module, LTM module, GTM module, which is DNS now. The APM is also another module which is provide, access control feature using which you can provide access control feature for the application. So
Mhm.
using big IP, you can implement granular access control. Before anybody accessing the application, they have to authenticate, right? And authorize themselves, then they would be able to access the application.
Okay.
Now there is a question like on the application itself, right? In the application itself, we have the mechanism for authentication authorization. Why we are adding extra layer, right? This could be one of the question. To answer this question, some of the application do not support advanced type of authentication authorization mechanism. For example, SSO. In some application, we don't have SSO. Some application do not have a authentication authorization mechanism also. And if we want to achieve, we can achieve through APM. So APM can be used as an access control system, which is allowing an user to authenticate and authorize before accessing the actual application. So
Okay.
using this, what we can do, we can use this for the multiple services. We can authenticate user based on the username password. We can use the LDAP credential. We can use a modern days things, for example, SAML authentication, Kerberos authentication, all those authentication and authorization we can use.
Okay.
If I talk about the APM on the big IP, if you are using virtual appliance or physical appliance, there you can provision the APM. Okay. Moving to next, what APM offers? So basically APM offers identity federation using SSO. So using SSO, you can create a policy which would allow an user to authenticate using existing SSO credential. It allows an administrator to configure the APM device as a SSL VPN access. So basically, if you want to use Big IP as a VPN solution for remote user, you can use it. It is providing, option as a web portal access. So few of the application, if you want to publish on the web portal, that user do not need to, install any connector, VPN connector. User would directly access the portal, and through portal they can access the application. Also, that you can do. This supports the VDI. This also supports the VDI. So if you have VDI in your environment and you just want to assign a VDI to particular user, yes, you can do that using APM. And it also provide, access policy deployment and management solution using which it provide the visual policy editor for the administrator, and using which the administrator can create a customized security policy which would allow
Mhm.
granular control over the application and for the network access. This is also providing secure web gateway for proxy services. So
Mhm.
as an example, if you have any website and you just want to secure that website through this APM, for authentication and authorization, yes, you can do that.
Okay. So
Yeah,
in
this
this,
is the
like,
course content.
do we
Yeah,
have
go ahead.
all these things will be covered in our course, or like some of them will be covered? How does that go? All one, two,
We are
three,
going to cover all these things we are going to cover
all
in
six
our
will be
course.
covered, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is overall course content which we are going to cover. We are going to set up the big IP system. We are going to
Mhm.
talk about web application access. We are going to explore about the policy, right? That what is access policy. Then we are going to talk about how to manage big IP APM, what all the authentication available in the APM we are going to use them. We are going to configure portal access. We are going to configure network access. We apart from this, we can configure client check. For example, if you're connecting through the VPN in the while connecting through the VPN, your system compliance is going to be checked. If your system is up to date, antivirus are up to date, then you would be able to connect, else not. So similar thing we can configure over here, which is client side checks. That means before connecting to the network, APM has a capability to identify that what all the things is installed on the user system that is as per policy or not. If there is any lack on the policy, then it would stop user connecting to the network. So that's client side check. We are going to configure that. After that, we are talking about the authorization, what all the authorization we can use. Authorization means we can allow an user to access whole network or a specific network through authorization policy. We can control that. After that, we are going to talk about the deployment of access control list. And then we are talking about the single sign-on. Then we would use I rule. Like in F5, we can use I rule for different purpose. Same I rule we can use in the APM also.
Mhm.
We would talk about the customizing big APM. And after that, we are going to explore the web top and the wizard. And after that, we are going to talk about the big IP edge client. Edge client is nothing but this is a VPN software, VPN connector.
Okay.
So we are going to discuss all these things. This is the F5 architecture. You might be already aware about this, that
Mhm.
F5 has the hardware, right? So they have different series of the hardware. They have a Preon series, which is very high-end hardware. They have another series, which is normal device, and they have virtual edition. So on the top of this F5 hardware or virtual edition, there is a TMOS operating system installed. And on the top of that, we can enable the particular module, and APM is over here. So APM comes under security module. This is used for the app access and VPN access. Moving to next, if I talk about the F5, how F5 works. So we know that F5 can work as a full proxy. When I say full proxy, that means from the client, on the behalf of the client, it can do the three-way handshake to the server. Here, it can modify the application data. Whenever user is sending some data through the F5, you can do the modification before delivering to the backend. It can work as an encryption decryption point. That means it can do the SSL offloading. And here on the backend, it can make the reverse traffic, right? Using SSL offloading. It can do the compression and decompression, and you can use a different version of protocol on the front end, and on the back end you can use different protocol. So that means overall this F5 is going to work as a full proxy. When I say full proxy, that means on the behalf of user, this F5 is going to send the request to the backend. So let's say if we are using APM, so F5 would be front face, and the backend server, whatever the resources would have, that is going to only communicate through F5, not directly to the user.
Got it.
If I talk about the F5 deployment, so we can deploy F5 in a different way. This is a one-arm deployment where you would see that there is only one interface for incoming and outgoing traffic. Okay, so this is called one-arm deployment. We can do inline deployment, which is called two-arm, where you would be saying that the big IP is on the between, And here we have a back end, and this is the front end, right, of the big IP. Furthermore, this is the big IP component. You might be already aware about that in the this is the big IP hardware, and in this big IP hardware we have control panel button using which we can configure the things in the big IP. We have the interfaces, we have the failover ports, we have the USB ports, and we have the management ports. Using USB ports, if we just want to upgrade the big IP, we can do that. If we just want to configure the big IP using console port, so we can use the management port or console port to access the big IP. And this is the Ethernet port using which we can connect the F5 with different network segment. Okay, so that's it. Now
Yeah.
I would talk about basic configuration. So let me just add some server over here. This is our lab. So I'm going to add Linux server. Wait a minute. Okay, so as of now, I'm taking the scenario that I have a web server. This is web server 1.
Mhm.
And this is web server 2. What I would do, I would define the IP for different, for different networks. So let me just define them. So as an example, this is overall our lab. And I just want to yeah, I just want to use it. So basically this is internal network, right?
Mhm.
And similarly, I would use external network. Okay, so I have 3 network segment. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to, let me send this back. This one also send to back. And this one also send to back. So in overall, our lab, we are going to use these 3 network. And for this internal network, I'm going to assign IP 192.168.2.0/24. This would be the internal networks subnet.
Mhm.
Let me duplicate this. This is my management. This is my management subnet, and for management, I'm going to assign an IP like 10.0.0.0/24. And this is my external one. So for external one, I would assign IP. This is external network. So for external network, I would be assigning IP 100.0.0.0.
Okay.
Now, what I would do, I would consider the things in this way. For example, these are my web server, which is running on internal network, or resources, which is on internal network. People just want to access through big IP APM. This is a front facing. So people from external network trying to access this internal network. Maybe they are trying to access the web server. They just want to connect through the VPN. Anything that they just want, right? So they would be doing everything from the external one. So this big IP is a protector between external network and internal network. And we are going to use management this one to configure the big IP, right? So that's the basic scenario is currently.
Just give
Just
me 1 second. Can you?
hold on. This is external client.
Yeah. Hello.
So I have taken the scenario like this. This
Okay.
big
Yeah.
IP device, as of now, this is blank. So I can access it. Let me show you.
So is the network topology we are using for the entire course?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
topology we are going to use for the entire course. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we are going to add more AD server for authentication, etc.
Yeah.
But
But the network and segmentations will be like this.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
It should be like this. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So if this is the big IP device, you know that using config command, we can configure the management IP. So as of now, management IP is this one, 10.0.0.1. This is the management IP. This is subnet mask, and this is the gateway. I do accept this. I don't want to change it. So I have said yes. Else I would change this. So IP is already this defined there. And now I would
Mhm.
try to access this big IP from here. So
Okay.
this is my Windows 6 machine. I can say this is, let me just write something. This is management PC. So this is the management PC. I can access the big IP device from here. Let me show you what IP is assigned over here.
Mhm.
IP config. As of now, no IP is assigned. I'm going to assign is ncpa.cpl. So we have network interface, and for this I'm going to assign an IP. The IP which I'm going to assign, it is 10.0.0.10, and subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and the gateway is 10.0.0.254,
Mhm.
and DNS server I'm going to assign 8.8.8.8. So ideally I should be able to ping from here, ping 10.0.0.1,
Mhm.
which is my big IP. I should be
Mhm.
able to ping, but anyhow I'm not able to ping. It could be like this. It could be the reason why I'm not able to ping. So I'm just going to reconnect this.
Whatever you are configuring, is it accessible for me, or I have to configure my thing in a separate?
It would be accessible for you. You just need to have lab access.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would be accessible for you as well.
Okay. So the same thing, whatever you are configuring, it is a shared thing, like between you and me, right?
Yeah, it is shared thing.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, you would be able to access this lab. I am running this lab internally, but
Mhm.
you should be able to access in this way, lab.netminion.net. So if you access this,
Mhm.
you just need to log in there, and you should be able to see the F5 APM lab.
Okay. What will be my login? I think, is it already shared to me?
You can check to Joya, and she is going to share with you.
Oh, okay. Sure. Anyway, we can continue.
Okay. So let me show you in this way. I should
Mhm.
be able to. I should be able to ping from here. Ping hyphen 10.0.0.1. I should be able to ping from here. Anyway, I'm not able to do that. So let's check here ifconfig. More.
Is it locally pinging in F5?
I can see that there is no IP on the in this F5. So probably I need to run the command config back, and
Yeah,
I
I
would
see.
try to
Management is
configure the.
configured with 1.245. It's a default
Yeah,
one.
management is not configured, so I need to
Yeah.
configure it. 10.0.0.1. Okay. Default gateway. Yes, I just want to configure
Mhm.
254. Say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm able to ping it.
Yeah.
And I can ping from here as well. Yes.
Good.
So from this, I can access. But what I have done, I have configured this router somewhere. Okay. So that I can directly access from my browser itself. https://10.0.0.1.
Okay.
In your case, you would be accessing this through this management PC. I'm directly accessing it.
Okay.
Admin,
Okay.
let me put
Got
the
it.
password. So this is this things I got. I need to click on next over here and click on
Mhm.
license activation.
Mhm.
And I need to put the license key. So I got a trial license. I'm going to put over here. This is trial license. I would say go manual and do the activation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got this dossier. I can download it. And from here, I can go and I can activate it. Browse. Okay, download. This is the dossier. Okay. Next. I read condition. Let's try to download the license. We got the license, and this license need to activate over here. Browse, download, license. Next. You are working on which module of the
Yeah, I
F5?
mostly see in my office. I have all these modules, but
Okay.
I don't have much experience on APM. So I just wanted to clear the fundas in the
No,
lab.
do
So I think,
you have experience on the F5, right?
yeah, means I have extensively worked on LTM, GTM, and all.
Okay,
But in
okay,
my new job, I have ASM and APM also. In ASM, I have little bit. It's configured things like that. But
okay,
APM very rarely I did.
okay.
So I just
That's
wanted
fine.
to,
That's fine. Okay, it's fine.
yeah. So I just
So,
wanted to be familiar with all the modules like screens and all.
okay, okay, that's fine. So we have APM over here. I can
Yeah.
activate it.
Yeah.
I just go with the nominal provision. Click on next. It's taking time, but yeah, let's wait.
Taking some time.
We are taking some time. Meanwhile, we can add one more server over here,
Yeah.
which is AD based server, because later we are going to use Active Directory.
Mhm.
So let me add a server, Windows Server 2016, one server. Its host name would be AD server.
Okay. And these servers are already configured with web, or like do we need to configure web in that?
We need
And
to configure
oh,
everything on this.
so
This
AD
is
also
not,
the same thing, right? Okay.
yeah, AD I would configure this.
Mhm.
Let me attach this. Okay, I can put over here and I can define that what IP I'm going to assign to this system.
Mhm.
So let me assign the IP. Dot 10 I'm going to assign to this one. This would be dot 11. For AD server, I'm going to assign dot 100. Right. And dot 1. One 192.168.2.1/24. I'm going to assign to this interface. For this one, I would assign 100.0.0.0, 100.0.0.1/24. Yeah. So I'm going to assign IP like this. For this one, I would assign dot 10. Right. And for this one also, I have assigned dot 10.
Mhm.
And for management, my IP is 10.0.0.1. And for this one, I have assigned IP 254. So this is the IP schema I have taken, and this should be
What is that
continued.
router we are using for?
Sorry, why we are using router?
Mhm.
Actually, I'm accessing this from my local system because this lab is hosted on my local system. So I'm accessing this lab directly through this router.
Okay, so it is just for your access.
This is for my access. I just want to access big IP because I have seen there is some slowness if we are using management. I can access through this one also, right?
Okay, okay, fine.
The big IP
But
I can access through this one also.
yeah, in my case, I'll not be using that router for any traffic, right?
No, you won't be using that. Yeah,
Okay, okay, got it.
this is manageable PC.
Okay, so that net means NetMinion, right? Not for the internet. Okay,
That's correct.
okay.
I can continue next. Okay, I would directly go for network provision.
Mhm.
And here I would click on next. I'm not going to configure HA as of now, so I would click on next. And there I'm going to define self IP for internal VLAN. For internal one, I would use gig 0/0. That means 1.1. So 1.1 is untagged. This is going to use as an internal. And for this, I'm going to assign IP 192.168.2.1 and subnet mask 255.255.255.0. This one. Next. This is my external VLAN. For external VLAN, I'm going to assign IP 100.0.0.1, subnet mask 255.255.0. 1.2 would be the interface, add it, say finish. So this configuration is done, and you can see when you have a APM, you are going to get this option. For
Yeah.
LTM local traffic, for ASM you have security, for if you are using DNS, so you would getting DNS option, and as of now I'm getting this option. That means this is the APM, and through this APM I'm going to configure everything. Since
Okay.
on this device I have used the LTM, right? So let me check if I can assign IP to this web server,
Mhm.
and let's say if I can run the web services, and I would create a VS and I try to access this VS from the external side. So
Okay.
let's see.
Mhm.
This is my web server. Let's try to access it. Anyhow, these web server are not accessible. I don't know why this is not showing. So, wait a
Okay.
minute. Let me just try to see what web server I have taken on this ASM side.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. I need to change the web server image. This web server currently is on wrong image, so I would configure right image there.
Okay.
I'm using Kali Linux as a web server over here.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can access. It's not change. I need to do forcefully stop, delete, and then need to add it.
Okay.
So let's see if I can add the node over here. Node, Linux, Kali Linux. Okay. Let's use one web server as of now and see if it is working.
Mhm.
And if this would work, then I would use different one. Okay, so it's this time it is working. Kali test at 123. This is my web server. I would start the web server. Network configuration, wired, settings, IP address. Let me assign IP address there. It's manual. The IP address would be 192.168.2.10. Net mask would be 255.255.255.0, and gateway would be my F5 IP 192.168.2.1. That's what I have assigned. All right. Interface, this one. The IP setting is fine, so I can save it, close it, and then wired connection 1, connect it, and I should be able to see that IP address has been changed. ifconfig. I have already installed the, web server on this. I'm going to start it using this command.
Uh-huh.
So let me just start it. Sorry. This command I need to run. Paste the clipboard. Okay, it's done. I need to start the Apache server as well. So let's start. Paste clipboard. Yes, this is running. So web services is running on this, and I can run the command net stat -an, using which I can see that on which particular port this system is listening.
Okay.
I just want to grab port number 80. So on port number 80, this is listening. As you can see, this is listening from everywhere. Okay, great. That means I have just one web server as of now. I would add one more. So I would access the big IP. I would configure this web server and try to access from here without any APM policy. So let's try to do that.
Okay.
So let me just create one pool, LTM pool, give the list pool name. Let's create pool is pool underscore app1. I'm just giving next, and here I'm taking the node. Node is 192.2.10. It is running on port number 80. Add it, finish it. Okay, so pool is down. That's fine. Virtual server. I'm going to create one virtual server. Create. create vs underscore app1 source address any destination address. Let me just assign virtual server IP 100.0.0. Let's say 50. That's my VS, which is running on port number 80 as of now. TCP, HTTP profile I'm not taking as of now. NAT I'm doing auto map, and the pool I'm taking this one. Finish it. Fine. So my virtual server is up, pool is up. If I go outside, this is my external client. From external client, I should be able to access my application.
Got it.
Let's go to external one. First, on this external client, I need to assign IP ncpa.cpl, and its external IP is 100.0.0.10. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and the gateway is 100.0.0.1. Let's see if it can ping to the virtual server. Ping 100.0.0.50. It's able to ping, so it can if I try to browse the application from this external client, I should be able to browse it. So 100.0.0.50, I am able to browse it. Yeah, this is showing me Apache is there. And you know, one of the application is running on this server.
Mhm.
Okay, that is this one. So if I run over here, this is my external client. Where it is, this one. If I run this like dvwa/login.php, I should be able to access the application. Admin. Yes, I can access the application. So this is the application I have, right? And let's say I just want to use APM to secure this application, because as of now, anybody directly able to access the application. So I just want to use APM so that I can secure this server. So I'm taking the things over here, access, and in the access we have different thing. We have access policy manager. From here we can create the access profile per sessions, right? So we can use this. This is going to provide us graphical user interface using which I can create a policy. So this policy is already there. I can create mine one if I just want. So I would create mine one. I would say create, give the access policy name. For example, I would give the access policy name APM_test.
Mhm.
See type. This is going to apply anywhere. I have taken all. This is profile, right? From here, I can take language as English and then finish it. So this is my APM test is created. If I can click over here, I would be able to edit it using,
What is that profile means? Like what type of profile? Like
sorry, what is the profile?
what is that profile in the properties? You selected all, right?
I
So,
selected all. That means where it should be applicable. If I'm creating this particular access policy, let me just go here.
mhm,
This is access profile. So
mhm.
if I'm just going to create this profile, that means where this profile could be applicable. It could be applicable only in the LTM module. It could be applicable to ASM module, APM module, those
Oh,
things
okay,
it
okay,
is
got
saying.
it.
Yeah.
So the entire
So if I
entire
go
F5
and
address.
create and I say what type of profile I just want. So I don't want to make it specific. I can use this profile at
Okay.
any place.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
this is the
Excellent.
template basically, you can say.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the test one I have created. Now you can see that in this profile, we have a visual policy manager or visual policy editor we have. So if I try to edit, it is going to open a visual policy for me. And this is the visual policy that you can see, right?
Okay.
So here we can say that, you see, during the login, what user would get? It should get the login page, right? Add this item. So in this item, what user would be getting? In the login page, it is getting username and password. If we are fine, we can click on save. So if user is getting the login page, and after that user is going to authenticate himself. How it is going to authenticate? I can see there are different mechanisms for authentication. So we have a kind of local authentication. We should be able to see somewhere over here.
Yeah. Local DB auth.
Yeah, this will be our local DVR. Add this item. And now we have option that what the local DB I can use. I don't have a DB as of now. So later I'm going to create that and then I would get back on this and select it. So I said save it. So it's gone to the local DB auth. And if it is successful, so I would say allow the access wherever this policy is going to attach. So that virtual server is getting allowed. If user is locked out or not successful, then it is going to deny the access. So this is the policy I have created. I can apply this policy. Let me just create local DB. Let's close this after apply. And under authentication, we have the local part over here, local database. I can create a local user. If I try to create a user, it would ask me that on the which particular instance users want to create a user. So I need to select I need to create first a database, local database. I would go to instance, create the database over here, give some name like local DB underscore test. Right here, I have defined that 3 times if user is putting wrong password, so user is going to get logged, and lock interval is 600 seconds.
Okay.
So I have defined this. Now I would select the user. I would create a user over here. Let's create a user, create new user. I would say test user 1. Its password I'm going to define test @123. @123. So these things I have defined there. I could have created group as well, but I have created this user. And now I would go to my access profile. And this was my policy, right? I would try to edit this. And under the local database, I'm going to define that which instance it would be. So it would be using this instance for the local database. Now I have created the policy. What this policy is saying, whenever user is hitting the particular resource where this policy is applied, user is going to get the login page, not from the application, but from the F5. F5 is saying that put the username and password, because in this login page, you can see there is a field for username passwords. These two things we have added. We can add third field as well if you want, but it's not required. So user is going to get this login page, and if user is able to put correct user login and password, user is allowed to access resource, else user is not allowed. Right? So that's what we have done. So this is my policy. where I can call this policy. So if I go to my LTM virtual server, this is the virtual server. I could be able to call this policy under access policy. So access profile, you can see. Currently, I can see this is my access profile. Connectivity profile I haven't defined. Only access profile I have defined here in the virtual server. Let's update it. Okay, so it is saying that whenever you are calling this access profile, you need to make sure that your HTTP profile should be there in the LTM,
Okay.
right? In the virtual server. So I
Okay.
would, attach the HTTP profile. So this is my virtual server, and in this virtual server HTTP profile, I'm going to call over here. And then under access profile, APM is there, update it. This time I didn't get any error. This is working perfectly. So now let's try to delete all session from the user side and try to access it. So I'm trying to access my virtual server from external.
Mhm.
Not now. HTTP colon 100.0.0.50. What the user is getting? This is the page user is getting from F5.
Okay. Access was denied.
Yeah, access is denied because it is not meeting the policy requirement.
Mhm. But we did not set any policy, right?
Yeah. Let me see why we are getting errors, because
Yeah, because
as
we
of
did not
now,
put any conditions, right? Did we put any condition?
we
No, right?
haven't put any condition. We have
Yeah.
just said that user should be able to access it directly.
Yeah, it should
HTTP,
just ask the password, I think, right?
yeah, 100.0.0.50. I need to delete the history of this because already established session are there.
Mm-hmm.
Why this is giving error? It shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's what even my understanding. Maybe you try click on new session.
No, new session is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It is something else is the problem. Let me just verify. I should use HTTPS port number 443, client SSL. Then we have APM, fine. Update it. HTTP client profile, yes.
But HTTP or HTTPS, it should be same, right? It is just encrypted.
HTTPS. HTTPS is the, this is doing SSL offloading.
Yeah, just SSL offloading, but that should not
Yeah,
do anything with that error, I think, right? Or is it something?
yeah. 50. Advance accepted. We are able to get this one. Username is what
Mhm.
was user1?
Yeah, actually here, this is one of my doubt I just wanted to clarify here. So
Yeah,
when can you open the policies?
yeah, sure. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Basically, this is the requirement for any APM that we should use HTTPS in the
Oh, okay.
virtual server, not the HTTP.
Okay, got you.
Test.
Okay.
And the second requirement is HTTP policy. Sorry, HTTP profile we should call on the virtual server. So these two are the requirement we have to use this.
Oh, okay. So APM, we cannot use it for any clear text HTTP protocol, is it?
No, you cannot use.
Okay.
See, now I'm able to access this. Yeah.
I was not knowing
So
that
my
actually.
actual application, which is Apache, this page was
Mhm,
unprotected, right? However,
mhm,
the other page was protected.
mhm.
Slash dvva slash login dot php. So my other page was protected, but not this one. This page was protected, but not the Apache page, right? So you can
Okay.
see that now Apache page has been protected through
Mhm,
the APM policy.
mhm.
HTTPS colon slash slash and then IP 100.0.0.50. Okay, advance. Go here. This is the page from the F5. This is authentication page. And as per policy, if I put right user and password, it is going to work. If I'm putting wrong user, it is not going
Yeah.
to allow me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm,
let me put right user test user one and then password test @ 123. So now it is allowing me to access the resource. So
got
that
you.
means your APM is going to check first
Mhm,
whenever you have that virtual server.
got you.
Yeah. Now I
Okay.
would go
So
back over here. Yeah, you had some doubt. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, on that actually. So if you can go to that policies. So this is what I
This
just
one,
wanted to
access profile.
understand. What? Yeah, just
Yeah,
open that policy and just click on that access policy and yeah, open. So just click on that log on the first one, first condition, log on
this
page.
one.
Yeah. So
This is
see that.
logon is a page. This is the logon is the page.
Uh-huh. I got that.
So,
And the text username and password, I got that as well. And
mhm.
there is a button for log on button as well. But I see there are some more checkboxes down, like save password, checkbox, new password prompt. Why those are not coming in that page? I see the first five of them are coming in. But after that, why it is stopping? So if I wanted to add there something, or if I want to delete something, how do we do that? Or you are
I mean,
covering both?
basically, this is the things, right? This is the default one. Save password checks. All these things are the default one, right? This is
Mhm.
the default page. But if you just want to import your page, you can import from here as well. So if you have your own page for the login, you can use it. This is coming from the F5, right? This is the page served by the F5. But if you want to use your design page, you can use there.
Okay, that is fine. Why that save password checkbox is not coming in our page? Because that's already there, right? So why is it stopping at log on button page in the login page,
I
right?
I need to check why this is happening because ideally it should come, right? But
Yeah,
secure
because it's
login to F5
stopping
network.
at log on page, log on button page. Below that, nothing is coming in the login screen. So if I wanted
Yeah,
to,
log on button is there, but nothing is
correct.
nothing else is coming. I need to check the backend this page on the backend, and then I would be able to confirm
Okay,
because you
okay.
can see captcha is not there. Split domain
Yeah,
is
yeah, correct,
there.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is actually one of my doubt when I was going through APM.
that's
So
yeah.
yeah, suppose if I wanted to add one more line, like in the same default page, I wanted to add save password checkbox. How do we do that?
Yeah, this is the customization base. I can let you know that, right? After looking in this
Yeah, sure. Maybe
form,
next class
wherever this form is coming. Yeah, next class.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe next class. Yeah, just I'm just
yeah,
noting.
yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. So this is the basic things I have shown you, right? Let me just close this. Cancel, close this. Yeah. So this is the basic things. What I can define different condition as well. I can add more condition over here. So you see, when I click over here, I'm getting different tabs. So I have used logon and authentication. We can use the assignment also. Dynamically, we can assign the policy group. We can check the endpoint security on the server side, client side, and this is general purpose we can use. So whenever we are using this, I mean, we are playing with this APM, access policy manager, a lot, because from here we are graphically defining the policy. But to define the policy, we should have a rich content over here. These authentication, if we just want to use radius based authentication, LDAP based authentication, we can use them. Radius or LDAP based authentication, I mean third party authentication server, we can also use there.
Okay.
Right? We can configure single sign-on, we can configure federation, we can configure VPN. So these are the tabs through which we are going to play. As of
Okay.
now, for today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this AD server ready so that whenever we have next lab, we can use this AD server. So let me just log in on this AD server. Let me assign an IP and host name, and I would install this AD server there. Right, let me just do this. ncpa.cpl. One 192.168.2.100. 192.168.2.1.
One.
Okay, DNS I'm not going to define. Let me just configure the host name on this server. Property. Change the host name. This is AD server. Okay, close, restart. All right. Let's put test at 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Let me install AD server over here. Okay, so I can use server manager to install the AD server. So this is the server manager. Okay, add role and feature. Next, let's use role-based installation. Next, This is Active Directory domain and services. This service need to be installed. So let's add next, 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 install.
Amar, you are mostly into teaching profession, or you're working in real time somewhere?
I'm working in real time.
Oh, you're
This
okay.
is part-time. I'm teaching as a part-time.
Okay. So you have
My
real
main
time
job is
experience.
working professional. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mostly for F5 products or like a mixed products?
I have worked in various product. I was part of implementation team earlier, right?
Mhm.
So, for implementation team, they get different products. So I work on firewall, F5, cloud, uh, you know, uh, SD-WAN, Meraki I
Oh,
was managing.
okay.
Apart from this, I worked on routing and switching.
Okay.
After that, I worked on DevOps because I was working as a cloud administrator. So they asked me to work as a DevOps people. So I worked as a DevOps. Nowadays,
Okay.
I'm working on a AI project.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
That's good. Like,
yeah. The, the
yeah,
technology is
because
changing. Same. We have to update accordingly, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
So
putting my
gradually
domain
update.
name like
Yeah, sure.
f5test.net.
Mm-hmm.
This is my domain name. I I have to add new forest over here, f5test.net. Next. Yeah, you were asking something.
I see. Like as I told you, like I have very little experience on APM, but I know somewhat something somewhere. So I'll be asking
Okay,
most of the doubts basically related to the real time only. So that's what I thought of just check with you.
that's fine. That's okay.
See, whatever I see in my office, like something is not working or something is not making sense to me, I thought of clarify those things through this
Yeah, no
training.
problem. How it is, integrated? What backend you are using for integration and authentication?
So there are several things like RSA, AD, SAML,
Hmm.
all these things. That's what I was asking, like SAML and all, it is covered in this training or not?
SAML, a kind of it's difficult to integrate because for SAML we should have a kind of Azure AD, intra ID should be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we can use ADFS. Similar things I can show you. Maybe I try to configure ADFS on this Windows server only, and we can use
Mm.
that. But if you are using SAML in the organization, they are using Entra ID, which is called Azure AD. So it is integrated
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Azure
I see
AD.
there's an ID which they have to get it from the Azure team.
Yeah,
Configure it. I see that.
yeah.
Because once I configure, I'll get a confidence like how is this thing is configuring. So that's what I thought of doing this lab and taking this course.
Yeah, no problem. I can explain those things.
Yeah.
So you are using APM for what? You are using APM for the application access, VDI or what?
VDI we are using and two-factor authentication, single sign-on,
Okay. Okay.
all those things. Remote desktops. So this was one of my doubt which I asked you. The logon page.
Mhm.
We are using our custom page only, but I don't know how to add and delete some custom things like save password, things like that. I see it is there in the portal page, but I don't know how to add into the login page.
I have to design a page for you and then tell you that how it is going to work.
I just wanted to understand how do we add, how do we delete, like whatever we need and whatever we don't need it.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that because this is the F5 page and this is providing limited functionality,
Mhm.
right?
I
So
see
you
something
have to edit.
the username password on the above screen. If you select one more, that is coming in on the
Which
login
one?
page. If you go back to that page, I can show you what I'm trying to tell you. So yeah, if you go to that edit access policy,
Okay.
just go there. Like if below the third one, just you try add something like a password itself.
Yeah, yeah.
Try try one more
This one.
password and try
Yeah.
giving something there. See the third page logon field 3 has come in, right? In the field 3 you can write whatever that will come on the login page.
Yeah, it would be coming because we just enabled this, right? So that's why it
Correct,
is
correct,
coming
correct.
there.
But
Yeah.
whatever is below that, that is still not coming. I just wanted to understand how do we add that in that login page.
See, here it is saying that on the log on page one, input field is a username. That's what it is showing. Log on page two,
Correct,
input field is a password. And log on page three, it is field. So that
correct.
thing are showing over here.
Yeah. But below things will
Yeah.
not come. I just wanted to understand how do we add that?
Uh, it is see, it is just giving the property, right? If I go here
Mm-hmm.
in the login page, it is just giving the property and nothing else. This is external client.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Let's use it. History. Let me delete the history.
Mm-hmm.
So you said we got this option, but not all, right? Let me
Yeah,
just do
all
one thing.
that is the thing. Like I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, let me just change the display size. Okay. So we have these things, but you are saying that when we are trying to, we are not getting this option, save password, right? So
That is
these
correct.
value we are not getting.
That is correct.
Hmm.
But in the type, I see there are some options we have to select, but I don't see these options in there as well. Suppose if you
Where?
type third password, 3 as a password, and if you give field as 3 as passcode or something, that will come in.
Yeah, I think we should get this.
Yeah, we should get this because I see that in some application that is coming in, but I don't know. This the guy who configured who left, he left the organization, and I recently joined. So I just wanted to
split domain.
understand how.
Yeah, I would be able to show you that why it's not coming. So it's a custom title. Logon button is as a logon.
Yeah, up to log on, it is coming.
Yeah, I got your point. What you just want to say. Terminal logon is there.
Yeah.
This is logon button, custom title, save password, new password, confirm password. If this is expired, save password checkbox.
Because save password checkbox can be a use case, right? Because some users wanted to save the password.
Yeah. Just whoever just want to save the password, they
Correct.
can use
Even though
it.
it is not a security thing, it's a security good
Mm,
practice, but still, if a great user is asking, like a CEO or CTO is asking, then we cannot say it is more possible, right?
I need to check this why this is not appearing.
Anyway, I'm just
But
giving it
what?
like
Yeah, no problem. I would check that.
yeah.
But what you can do, you can use the customized page as well if you want. From here, you
Yeah,
can
we
browse
are
your
using
customized
actually that
page.
customized page. Anyway, we can
You
do that as well.
you
But
are
even if
using
you,
customized one. Yeah, okay.
yeah, but even if you use that, that is not coming in.
Okay.
Only these pages are coming in for me. So we are using customized only. We are not using the F5 page.
Okay. Great.
So that is the thing. Maybe you can just work on it. Like even I will try from my side as well because
Yeah.
you can
Definitely.
just check it out and let me know.
Yeah, my policy. Okay. Yeah, we can work on that.
Yeah.
So AD server is up, I think.
Yeah.
After this, we need to add the AD. Okay, so AD server is there. Let me log
Okay.
in. F5 test.net test at 123 test 123. Okay. So I can close this. I can see the AD server is there. Let me try to add the AD server.
Mhm.
So I need to go to authentication. In authentication, I need to select authentication as a Active Directory. This one. Okay, and then we can click on create. We can say AD underscore AAA underscore server one, whatever we just want to define, we can say. Okay, domain name would be F5 test.net. It would be, I'm going to use a pool because we can add multiple AD server. And I'm going to add this server over here. So I'm going to put server IP 192.168.2.100. I would say this is a DC domain controller. We can click on this add. It is trying to ping the gateway. Server pool monitoring would happen through gateway. So I can click on this finish option. What required?
Pool name.
Okay. DC pool. Finish. Yeah, so this is my AD server. Now I can create authentication profile. So earlier in the login, we have used under policy. This is why my APM. So earlier in the login, we had used what? We had
Local.
used local domain. Now I'm going to delete this. And here I'm going to add the authentication, AD auth, add item. And we can take AD server this. We can say save. If successful, it is allowed. And now I can apply the policy, close it. And in AD, I would create one user, dsa.msc. User, give some username, new user, test1, password, test. Sorry, user login name is test1. Next. User should not be able to change its password, and password is test at 123, test at 123. Finish. So let's go back to external client, which is this one. Say new session. I think, yeah. New session. Test1. Test at 123. If my AD communication is right, I should be able to access it. So you can see now my AD connectivity is fine. So instead of using local one, I was able to log in through this AD part.
Okay. So can you go to that Big IP AD configuration once again?
So, okay.
Okay.
Here
So
we have authentication, Active Directory. So I
okay.
have created profile over here. I can have a multiple server in my pool. I have just one as of now, but
Okay.
I could have a multiple domain controller.
Got it. So what is this
Yeah.
admin name and password? What is that used for?
Which one?
The admin name, admin password, and verify admin password.
So basically, if you just want to do any kind of a, uh, AD query, which is not allowed for the normal user, at that time we can use the admin name and password.
Okay. So in this case, like, how does this traffic, like, where a user comes to APM? Is it APM going to send the query, or the source user is
APM.
going to
APM going to send the
Okay.
query.
So APM is
The
getting
user is
the username field from the request and it sends to the backend or AD server for the cross-checking the
correct.
username and password.
Correct.
Okay, but F5 itself is not seeing that the AD is up or not, correct? It's not keep on sending any
Sorry.
queries. It is just sending an ICMP
The
monitoring.
F5 is sending the ICMP monitoring, right?
Okay,
This
but
one,
F5 is
gateway
not
ICMP
checking.
monitor. It is going to monitor the pool, right? That one.
Mhm. Okay.
So I can use the pool. The
Mhm.
benefit in the pool, I can add multiple servers, AD servers.
Okay.
So it can go, requests can go to any server, any domain controller. These are the domain controller. So in organization, we could have a multiple domain controller. So we can use that. And if organization is using, F5 before that, a load balancer before that, right? Against the domain controller. So we can
Mhm.
use this direct part as well. So there I can define the domain controller only. And if you just want to have some, specific access to this APM to do the query inside the F5, so we can define the username, and for that username in the ID, we can define some permissions. So as
Okay.
of now, we have all user, which is, read only, right? So it is sending the
Mhm.
request, read only request to AD. AD is saying that this user is there. So it's allowing them.
Okay. So it is actually, for example, if AD is having a group called external users, and if that APM needs to check that if the specific user coming in is part of that group, then we need to give the username and password. Otherwise, we don't need to give anything.
Yeah, if we just want to have some additional query, then only it is required, else it is not required. Yeah,
Okay. Just for the default authentication, we don't need to authenticate. APM doesn't need to authenticate with the backend. Okay.
correct, correct.
Okay. Good.
APN doesn't need to authenticate on the backend.
Okay.
So far we have seen the AD-based authentication. We have seen this policy.
Local authentication. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just go back and check for your this part, right? And we'll let you know if it is getting solved. I'm going to stop here, okay?
Oh,
And
okay.
next week
Got
we are going